Good evening, everybody, and you have tuned in to CPS News, the news that speaks your language, and it's Monday night, and it's already December 15th. It seems amazing. Time is flying, and soon it's going to be 2026. But you have reached the only newscast in Bahía de Banderas in English. I'm Brent Lane, and I'm here solo tonight because Jessie has the evening off. Hope she's doing well. So without further ado, let's get in. We got a big show. We got Voices of Vallarta tonight. We've got sports. We've got national headlines, everything you come to expect from our newscast. So the first thing you expect every night is the headlines. So let's go.
Tonight on CPS Local News, a Christmas tree lighting in San Vicente ends in flames just seconds after the switch is flipped. The holiday season brings expanded sobriety checkpoints and traffic enforcement across Bahía de Banderas. Update on last week's Naval Zone confrontation as the armed suspect remains hospitalized and under federal custody. Tonight's Voices of Vallarta features Harmony Hudgens as she joins Brent to talk about the Pause for the Cause fundraiser supporting Friends of Puerto Vallarta animals. In national news, Mexico sees a sharp rise in flu cases as hospitals report growing pressure during the winter season. And in sports, Toluca wins their 12th Liga MX title after a dramatic penalty shootout over Tigres. All that and more tonight on CPS News, the news that speaks your language.
Okay, and our first story tonight, a Christmas celebration in San Vicente took an unexpected turn Saturday night when the town's brand new Christmas tree burst into flames moments after it was lit. Early reports point to an electrical overload in the lighting system. The heat built fast and the tree was fully engulfed before anyone could react, leaving only the metal frame behind. Families in the main plaza watched it happen, but thankfully no one was hurt. Fire crews from Bahía de Banderas moved in right away and had the flames under control within minutes, fortunately. Local authorities say a replacement tree is already in the works, and neighbors are now asking for a little tighter checks on electrical materials and lighting setups to avoid another scare during the holiday season or really any time. Thank you so much to Guadalupe Arce for our first story tonight. And of course, while the neighbors in San Vicente are pushing for safer holiday setups, authorities in Bahía de Banderas are also dealing with a different kind of concern this season. Police are now warning shoppers about a rise in catalytic converter thefts at two of the region's busiest plazas. And here's Joe with the details you're going to want to know.
Authorities in Bahía de Banderas are warning residents and visitors about a rise in catalytic converter thefts at commercial shopping centers. The Department of Citizen Security and Traffic reports daily thefts at the parking lots of Lago Real Plaza in Mescales and Mega Flamingos in Bucerias, with 3 incidents recorded over the past 3 days, one each day. Security Director Javier Esparza Garcia says authorities believe the crimes may be linked to an organized group taking advantage of increased vehicle traffic during the holiday season and the arrival of tourists. Stolen catalytic converters can be worth more than 5,000 pesos. Police have increased surveillance at both locations and are asking businesses and the public to report any suspicious behavior immediately. Officials also confirmed the first reported case of a staged accident scheme known as montachoques, prompting additional patrols along municipal highways. Residents are urged to stay alert this holiday season and take steps to protect their property. With information from MGG, Joe Wasik, CPS News.
So listen, this has been a worldwide issue, not just a Mexico issue, and hopefully local police can keep an eye out for our parked vehicles as much to just stop and curb some of those thefts. All right, now moving on, we've got a quick word from our sponsor, and of course that means it's time for Cerámicas Exclusivas. This holiday season, let your home shine with Cerámicas Exclusivas, where style, quality, and design come together. Discover beautiful porcelain tiles, wood-look ceramics, which are perfect for every space within your house, and timeless elegance. For 32 years, Cerámicas Exclusivas has helped turn houses into homes. They thank their customers, their friends, and community for your trust, and they, of course, wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year filled with joy, abundance, and beautiful spaces. Okay, just give them a call or visit them at Calle Federación 390, Locales 5 and 6, Paseo Universidad, and that's in Ixtapa, Puerto Vallarta. Or give them a ring, old school style, at 333-810-6053, and follow them on Instagram and Facebook. Cerámicas Exclusivas brings warmth, brings style, and it brings it all home. Now here's Maria with our next story tonight.
Health authorities in Bahía de Banderas have confirmed the municipality's first case of measles, involving a 6-year-old girl originally from Michoacán who now resides in the area. Additionally, 5 other minors are considered suspected cases after having close contact with the child at a school in the Valle Dorado neighborhood. The Nayarit Ministry of Health has activated containment measures, including sanitary perimeters, epidemiological screening, and a mass vaccination campaign. Health Secretary Dr. Beatriz Adriana Ruiz Huerta reported that 96 health workers have been deployed to conduct house-to-house vaccinations in order to stop the spread of the virus. Authorities say the case was detected on Friday, December 5th, with surveillance actions beginning early the next day. Medical teams from ISTE, IMSS, and IMSS Bienestar are tracking all possible points of contact inside and around the school. Officials believe the exposure likely occurred during frequent travel to Michoacán. The child is reported to be stable and in good health. Vaccination coverage in the municipality currently stands at 95%, which could help contain further spread. With information from Israel Torres, Maria Ammerman, CPS News.
Hopefully they get that under control and, correct and stop that outbreak before it gets too big. All right, moving on. If you're looking for a subtle change that enhances your natural beauty, Aesthetic City Clinic is the place to go. Dr. Ulysses Gomez, who is a certified aesthetic physician, specializes in facial harmonization, focused on the nose, lips, and the chin. Every treatment begins with a personal consultation where Dr. Gomez listens to your goals and designs the ideal plan to achieve your natural-looking results. To schedule your consultation, just give him a visit at Rio Yaqui 225 Fluvial Vallarta, or again, give him a call, 322-201-2637. Aesthetic City Clinic, where science and art come together to help you look amazing. Okay, now here's an update from one of our headlines from last week regarding that shooting. You guys saw the shocking video. It was at the entrance of the naval base. Now, Joe has the details and the follow-up details from that story.
An 18-year-old man identified as Landon Dilan remains hospitalized and unconscious after being neutralized by Mexican Navy personnel at the entrance of the naval zone in Puerto Vallarta. His legal situation remains on hold as the case is being handled by the Federal Attorney General's Office, FGR, in coordination with naval authorities. According to official reports, at 6:38 p.m., staff at the regional hospital were notified of the patient's arrival. The young man was transported by a Navy ambulance from the naval zone, arriving unconscious and in critical condition. He was admitted to the emergency room and intubated due to the severity of his injuries. Authorities say the individual arrived at the main gate of the naval facility armed with a firearm and refused repeated orders to drop the weapon. Navy personnel then intervened and neutralized him. The suspect remains under federal custody and faces potential charges for violations of federal firearms laws and attempted homicide against Navy personnel. However, due to his medical condition, the initial court hearing remains suspended, pending further medical evaluation. With information from Guadalupe Arce, Joe Wasik, CPS News.
Still shocking to see that video. Now, we'll continue to monitor this story and provide any updates to the conviction of the suspect and the situation overall. Next up, new numbers out of Nayarit show a sharp rise in AIDS-related deaths, making this the deadliest year on record for the state. Here's the information you're going to want to know.
Civil society organizations in Nayarit are raising alarms over a sharp increase in AIDS-related deaths. Alfredo Ramirez, Nayarit coordinator for the nonprofit Casa de las Muñecas Tiresias, reported that 20 people died from AIDS-related causes in November alone, bringing the total to 73 deaths so far this year. According to the organization, this represents a 38% increase in just 1 month, making 2025 the deadliest year on record for AIDS in the state, surpassing both 2024 and 2023. Last year, 47 deaths were recorded, meaning this year has seen a 55% increase. Ramirez said most deaths are concentrated in Tepic, Bahía de Banderas, and Santiago Ixcuintla, blaming the rise on late detection and lack of timely access to testing and medication. He criticized state health authorities for relying on sporadic campaigns, while civil organizations have stepped in to fill the gap. In the past month alone, the group conducted 4,000 tests, with 10% returning positive. Ramirez is again calling on authorities to explain how prevention and treatment funds are being used, as patients continue to face shortages of essential services. With information from Israel Torres, Eric Stevenson, CPS News.
And those calls for accountability continue as advocates push for better access to testing and treatment across the state. Meanwhile, here in the region of Bahía de Banderas, it's making a milestone. They're celebrating 36 years since its official founding. Here's Maria with the brighter details and more uplifting story.
Bahía de Banderas, the youngest municipality in the state of Nayarit, is celebrating 36 years since its official founding this December 11th. The municipality was formally established in 1989 through a state decree that separated its territory from Compostela, granting it independent local government. Its name dates back to 1525, when indigenous communities defended their land, carrying colorful feathered banners during the arrival of Spanish forces led by Francisco Cortés de San Buenaventura, an event that gave the region and the bay their name. Today, Bahía de Banderas is home to nearly 200,000 residents across more than 30 communities, spanning mountain, urban, and coastal zones. With over 40 kilometers of coastline, it has become one of Mexico's most important tourist destinations. Tourism growth accelerated in the 1990s and expanded in the 2000s, driven by federal infrastructure, private investment, and the northward expansion of Puerto Vallarta. In 2007, the launch of the Riviera Nayarit brand positioned the municipality on the global stage. Now, at 36 years old, Bahía de Banderas stands as a key economic engine for Nayarit, defined by growth, identity, and opportunity. With information from Israel Torres, Maria Ammerman, CPS News.
Well, happy 36th birthday. That's a lot of candles, and you're doing great, and you don't look a day over 35. Okay, we're about to go to commercial, but you're not going to want to go anywhere because we're going to come back, and pretty soon it's time for Voices of Vallarta. And if you've been around for a little while, you know that's the interview segment where I go one-on-one with a influential, kind of awesome person in our community that's doing something really cool. And this week, I'm really happy to have Harmony here, who's also a personal friend. So don't go anywhere. Don't turn the channel. Come right back, and we'll be right back here in a minute. Welcome back, everybody, and now it's time for Voices of Vallarta. Thanks for sticking with us, and today I'm really happy to have Harmony on, who is a volunteer with Friends of Puerto Vallarta Animals. So happy to have you on today.
Thank you, Brent.
Pull that mic up and let's hear you.
Thank you so much for having me, Brent.
It's good to have you on. So I know you're here talking specifically about an event, but for those out there who don't know anything about you or what you do as a volunteer for Friends of Puerto Vallarta Animals, can you tell me and tell us a little bit more about the group, what they do day to day for the municipal shelter, and then kind of a little bit about you and what a volunteer has meant to you?
Sure, absolutely, Brent. Founded in 2013, Friends of Puerto Vallarta Animals is a group of dedicated and passionate volunteers who are committed to the well-being of the animals housed at the city municipal shelter. We currently have over 80 dogs and 40 cats at the shelter patiently waiting for their forever homes. On our volunteer days, you can expect to walk dogs, bathe them, cuddle them, clean in the cat rooms, or cuddle some cats. Our visits really provide them with much needed socialization. We also host adoption events. We run a Facebook page, an Instagram, and a website, and of course, fundraise. Through our commitment to providing food and medicine and socialization, fully funded and by donations and doing fundraising, we ensure these animals get the care that they deserve. As a full-time volunteer and just recently this year becoming a kitten foster, my time spent with the animals is really precious. To me, it's really about getting them healthy, telling them how loved they are, and really rooting for their happily ever after.
Wow, these animals are fortunate to have you in that organization. And I've been out there and I've seen the facilities and I've seen how hard you guys work out there. So I can attest, for one, that you guys really are putting a massive effort to it. And just one of the great groups in town for animals and taking care of them. Congratulations on your new fostering.
Thank you.
So let's jump into it. I know you're here a lot to talk about the Pause for a Cause event. I was there last year. It was amazing. It's a fundraiser. So tell everybody, where is it happening and kind of what people can expect, and of course when it's happening.
Absolutely. Our 13th annual Pause for the Cause fundraiser is taking place Saturday, January 10th, 2026 at La Huerta Bar and Grill. It's a great outdoor space right up on the river in the Colonia Pasa Ancho. At a ticket price of only 1,000 pesos and a welcome margarita to get the party started, you are sure to have a good time. Dance your heart out, raise a drink with friends, eat the great food at La Huerta, and all this while supporting the animals. It's going to be a really good time.
I love the cause. I love the event. I love the venue. It's probably one of my favorite venues in town.
It's a gorgeous venue.
Yeah,
it really, truly is.
I got to spend 8 hours with you there last year.
You did.
You did. It was so good. So let's talk about some of the most important parts of this. So
the part that matters.
Yeah,
right?
no, the part that really matters is, like, you've got musicians, you've got MCs, you've got performers. So tell me a little bit about the entertainment and the atmosphere and who's going to be there this year.
Well, let's start with our MCs. We're going to have Kevin Anthony, and he's a staple here in Vallarta, international Broadway powerhouse. He will be taking the stage with Allison Lowe, also very well known here in Vallarta. She's currently performing with the Big Deal Band at Casita Cellar. Sorry, yes. So you can catch her there on Wednesday nights, but we look forward to having them both to the stage. But it's going to be an afternoon full of great entertainment, including the talented Effie Pissarro, Mal Jimenez, who currently has a Bruce Springsteen tribute show at the Palm, Patrice, who also has a Amy Winehouse tribute at the Palm, Wendy Warhol, DJ Rabbit, and live band Sylvie and the Zippers. If you want to find out when your favorite performer is going to be on, just hop on over to our Facebook page, and our official event poster and the lineup is all posted under featured.
Oh, it's a heck of a lineup. I know, luckily from my radio days, I know most of those bands and stuff.
I figured you did.
and they're all great. That sounds like an amazing lineup for sure. I mean, and of course, I'm not just saying that. That is it. And everybody who's listening or lives in Vallarta knows that lineup's great. And what a great couple of MCs as well. Now, of course, none of this can be possible without your sponsors, right? And I'd be amiss not to ask you to go ahead and name them, even read them off a sheet to get them perfect. Let's hear about the sponsors and those people that were generous enough to really make this happen.
Absolutely. Without them and their financial contributions, we want to put on a first-class event, and their help is allowing us to do that. First up is Contractor PV, a full-service architectural and construction firm. Second up is Deborah Cole Photography. Deborah is a photographer and a writer and also serves on the board for the Vallarta School for Girls. Dog and Cat Veterinary Clinics, Puerto Vallarta's #1 trusted clinic for vet care, grooming, boarding, daycare, and adoptions all in one pet-friendly place. House of Saloki, an international creative marketing agency, helping businesses focus on collaborations and long-term strategy. They also do work that supports local artists here in Puerto Vallarta, which is really great. Olympia, a pure real estate development offering luxury condos for sale in the heart of the 5D neighborhood. And Tropicasa Realty, a full-service real estate agency with over 2 decades of positive working relationships and an extensive portfolio of properties available here in the Bay.
That's an impressive list of people. That's amazing.
Got to make sure I got them all in
there. Yeah,
no,
you got to get them all in. Some of the pronunciations were a little tricky, but nice job. So that's amazing that they're all stepping up for you, and I'm glad to see, and some of them are returning, so that's amazing too. So let's make sure we get the information out there, because what we really want to get out of this is make sure that everyone out there knows where it's at, and how to get there, and how to attend. So it's not all about the fundraiser. Let's also share how to get involved with the Friends of Puerto Vallarta Animals. So for anyone who wants to know more, they want to know more about the organization, fostering, adopting, donating their time, what's the best way to get in touch?
We encourage people to visit or message us at our Friends of Puerto Vallarta Animals Facebook page.
Okay.
We are very active on that page every day, featuring adoptable dogs, cats, success stories, upcoming events. But you can also find us online on our website at www.friendsofpvanimals.com. And there you'll find the full list of all the adoptable animals at the shelter, plus all the ways to get involved, whether it's donating monetarily, fostering, or the best, adopting.
Love it. As always, you're absolutely representing your organization
Thank you.
amazingly, always extremely prepared as well. So thank you for that.
Thank
and
you.
thank you so much for coming out. But alas, we're out of time.
Yes, of course. But
Absolutely.
I am so glad I got to come on today, and thank you for having me.
Loved having you here, Harmony. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, if you want to be part of the show and you have an organization you're part of or a business or anything else, please go to the website, go check us out, go to Jesse and Brent PV at Weebly.com and get on the show with Voices of Vallarta. And I would love to have you sit where Harmony did so well today. So with that, we got to move on to our next story tonight. So don't go anywhere.
City Council members in Puerto Vallarta are calling for urgent action to address the ongoing shortage of public transportation buses, warning that the issue has become not only a mobility problem, but also an economic burden for residents. During a nighttime City Council session on November 9th, Councilman Arnulfo Ortega Contreras, also known as Don Chonito, and head of the Commission on Economic Growth and Development, presented a proposal urging Mayor Luis Ernesto Munguia Gonzalez to formally request support from Jalisco Governor Pablo Lemus Navarro to resolve the crisis. The proposal was approved unanimously, asking state transportation authorities to intervene, as the current number of buses is insufficient. Ortega said residents across multiple neighborhoods have filed repeated complaints, reporting wait times of up to an hour and a half, overcrowded buses, and unsafe conditions, including passengers traveling with doors open or hanging from entrances. He warned that many residents cannot afford taxis or ride-hauling services during peak hours, forcing them to spend limited income just to reach work or school, worsening their financial situation. Ortega also raised concerns about passenger safety, dignity, and potential human rights violations, citing the constitutional right to mobility. In response, Mayor Munguia said he's confident Governor Lemus will support Puerto Vallarta once again, adding that new buses are expected to be formally delivered before the end of the year. With information from MGG, Joe Wasik, CPS News.
And with that push from the council, the pressure now shifts to the state to deliver real fixes. For riders across the city, the hope is that relief comes sooner than later. Now here is Maria again with our next story tonight.
Concerns are growing in Nayarit over alleged irregularities within a sector of the state's notary system, as authorities confirm ongoing criminal investigations that could affect the property security of residents. Fernando Castro Rubio, a notary public and president of the Association of Entrepreneurs of Puerto Vallarta and Bahía de Banderas, acknowledged that while questionable practices among notaries have occurred in other parts of Mexico, Nayarit stands out because formal criminal investigations are already underway. Castro Rubio said authorities have identified signs of potential misconduct after citizens filed formal complaints, leading to the opening of investigation files. He explained that some notaries may have acted outside the law, instead of providing legal certainty, placing citizens' property rights at risk. In recent months, at least 2 notaries based in Bucerías have undergone exhaustive document reviews by the Nayarit Attorney General's office, which is comparing notarial records against official registries amid signs of irregularities. This has generated uncertainty among residents of Bahía de Banderas. Governor Miguel Ángel Navarro Quintero has stated that investigations will continue and confirmed preparations to revoke the official credentials of notaries facing criminal proceedings, including notaries in Tepic and Ixtlán del Rio. Authorities say the outcome of these cases will be key to restoring trust and protecting the patrimonial security of Nayarit residents. With information from Israel Torres, Maria Ammerman, CPS News.
And those investigations continue as state officials do focus and say now we're going to work on rebuilding trust and protecting residents' property rights. Meanwhile, in Bahía de Banderas, authorities are turning their attention to holiday safety, keeping sobriety checkpoints and traffic operations in place throughout the holiday season. Here's more on the story you're going to want to know.
Authorities in Bahía de Banderas have confirmed that sobriety checkpoints and traffic enforcement operations will remain in place throughout the holiday season as part of the Winter Operation 2025 in Nayarit. the Department of Citizen Security and Traffic reported that alcohol checkpoints and actions against irregular motorcycles will be conducted on a permanent basis during the December holidays, aiming to prevent traffic accidents linked to drunk driving and unsafe vehicle conditions. These efforts are being coordinated with state and federal agencies, with checkpoints set up along Riviera Nayarit Boulevard and Federal Highway 200 due to the increased flow of tourists and visitors during the festive season. Authorities urged residents and visitors to avoid driving under the influence, follow traffic regulations, and designate a sober driver during posadas, Christmas, and New Year's celebrations. Fines for drunk driving can range from 7,000 to 18,000 pesos, in addition to towing and impound fees. Administrative arrest may also apply, and in severe cases, violations may be treated as criminal offenses, leading to vehicle seizure and license suspension. Officials also warned that motorcycles without proper documentation, plates, or safety equipment will be impounded, as they pose a risk to riders and others. Authorities emphasized that weekend traffic operations are permanent in Bahia de Banderas and reminded the public to protect their lives and property by complying with traffic laws. With information from Israel Torres, Eric Stevenson, CPS News.
Thank you very much. I know you aren't going to drink and drive anyways, but if you do, get an Uber. Okay, now if you've been thinking about your health lately, Hospital Hoya is reminding everyone that this is a great time to check in on your well-being because they offer full medical checkups, lab and imaging services, specialist consultations, and round-the-clock emergency care, along with dedicated ICU and pediatric units. If you'd like more information or want to book an appointment, just call 322-226-1010 or 322-226-8181. And you can follow Hospital Hoya on social media to keep up with their latest promotions. Hospital Hoya is committed to your health and your family's well-being. Now, here's our next story tonight.
Puerto Vallarta is celebrating a major milestone in maritime tourism with the arrival of its 1 millionth passenger through international cruise ships and local tour vessels this year. The symbolic celebration took place at the city's maritime terminal, where visitors Michael and Jessica Swenson, arriving aboard the Norwegian Bliss from Los Angeles, along with Ana Cecilia and Abigail Vasquez Garcia, passengers on a local bay tour operated by Grupo Naviero de la Bahia, were recognized as Passenger 1 Million. The event featured live mariachi music and a festive welcome, with honorees receiving traditional charro hats, a rebozo, tequila bottles, gift cards, tours, and adventure experiences, sponsored by local tour operators and businesses based at the port. The ceremony was led by retired Admiral Juan Ortiz Garneros, director of Asapona Puerto Vallarta, alongside cruise officials, municipal tourism authorities, and representatives of the Mexican Navy. Ortiz Garneros highlighted that Puerto Vallarta consistently reaches this milestone each year, reinforcing its role as a key cruise destination on the Mexican Riviera. He announced that the port is expected to close the year with approximately 1.1 million maritime visitors. Authorities emphasized that this achievement reflects coordinated efforts between port authorities, tourism providers, and government agencies, further positioning Puerto Vallarta as one of Mexico's most important and welcoming tourist destinations. With information from Guadalupe Arce, I'm Eric Stevenson, CPS News.
Thanks, Eric, for that story. And now it's time for On This Day and the little break we take. I'm all by myself, so we're not going to get the serious ones from Jesse. We'll just get mine as usual. But mine are, maybe the first one's not quite as serious as usual. So first of all, I do want to give a big shout out for our Jewish friends out there who might be celebrating Hanukkah. As you may know, it runs from December 14th all the way through the evening of December 22nd. So happy Hanukkah to all those out there that are partaking of the holiday and lighting those candles. Okay, also today is International Tea Day. Now, I might be an anomaly. I might be all by myself here, but I don't really like tea. I can only drink the ones that actually don't taste like tea, like ginger and ones like that. So I'm kind of a weirdo, so it's not really a day for me, but it might be a day for you and for our British friends out there, of course. Cheers to you and drink your tea. All right, last but not least, it was hard to find ones this week, I'll tell you. It's National Wear Your Pearls Day. Of course, I don't have any pearls at home. My wife enjoys pearls, so it might be a good one for her to do today if she's got a reason to. So if you've got pearls and you're out there clutching them, clutch your pearls, wear your pearls, because today is Wear Your Pearl Day. So great. If Jessie was here, she would give you some really good ones that are a little more serious. But we say hi to her and hope she's having a good time with Bella. All right, we're going to be right back in just a minute. So don't go anywhere and stick with CPS News, the news that speaks your language. Welcome back, y'all. You can tell I've been in Texas for a couple weeks, or actually in Florida. I still get the y'alls, but so happy to have you back. Thanks for sticking with us. And next up, we're going to have a little story from Joe, and it's all about the Lionel Richie concert. I know a lot of you were there, so let's check it out.
Vidanta World Nuevo Nayarit closed its Vidanta concert series in spectacular fashion with a historic performance by Lionel Richie, drawing more than 6,000 fans for an unforgettable night of music and emotion. The show kicked off at 9:24 p.m. with the opening chords of Hello, immediately igniting the crowd. Richie took the stage dressed in black with a white jacket, receiving a standing ovation as he greeted the audience and promised a wonderful and special night. Backed by 5 musicians, the legendary artist delivered a collection of timeless hits that have defined generations, including Endless Love, Easy, You Are, Say You, Say Me, and Deep River Woman, all enthusiastically sung along by the crowd. One of the most emotional moments came with We Are the World, the iconic song Richie co-wrote, symbolizing unity and hope. The night reached its peak with an explosive finale as the audience danced and sang to All Night Long. At 76 years old, the Grammy and Oscar-winning artist showcased remarkable energy and charisma, marking his first-ever performance at Vidanta World Nuevo Nayarit and leaving a lasting impression in Bahia de Banderas. Before the concert, organizers officially announced part of the Vidanta Concert Series 2026 lineup, including Marco Antonio Solis on April 30th and Michael Bublé in May. Ticket sales will open in the coming months through the official website. With this grand finale, Vidanta World Nuevo Nayarit reaffirms its status as one of Mexico's premier venues for world-class entertainment. With information from Fernanda Bojorquez, Joe Wasik, CPS News.
Night. I know Jessie was there and her pics look fantastic, and you could just feel every bit of the energy coming through those photos. Lionel Richie had the entire place on its feet, it looks like, and Vidanta closed the series on a truly unforgettable note. A big night for the venue and honestly for everyone who got to share it. Now, some more Vidanta World show excitement that you're not going to want to miss, and I for sure don't want to miss it either. This show looks really good. Here's the details.
Vidanta World marked a historic milestone today with the inauguration of Ludo, the new permanent Cirque du Soleil show created exclusively for this tourism development in the Bahia de Banderas region. Ludo is not only a theatrical production, but also the permanent home and purpose-built theater for Cirque du Soleil at Vidanta World, designed to host large-scale productions and world-class immersive experiences. Its debut represents the first major visible step toward the opening of Vidanta World's theme park, scheduled for winter 2026, one of the most ambitious tourism projects in Mexico. During the opening ceremony, Daniel Chavez, chairman of Vidanta's board, emphasized the human and educational meaning behind the project, calling on Mexican entrepreneurs to believe in, invest in, and commit to Mexico. He highlighted that long-term vision, discipline, and confidence can transform dreams into projects with social impact. The governor of Nayarit praised Chavez's leadership and described Vidanta World as a development that goes beyond tourism, serving as a key driver of regional growth and international competitiveness. Mexico's Secretary of Tourism, Josefina Rodriguez Zamora, said Ludo offers Mexicans world-class entertainment at home while generating jobs, economic impact, and a community-focused tourism model. The event concluded with Bahía de Banderas Mayor Héctor Santana formally granting Ludo its operating license, officially launching the show. With this opening, Vidanta World strengthens its position as one of Mexico's most important tourism and entertainment projects, placing the region firmly on the international stage. With information from Fernando Bojorquez, Maria Ammerman, CPS News.
Like I said, that show looks fun. I really do want to get out there and see it. I love a good Cirque du Soleil show. I've done a few in Vegas, and I'll definitely go to this one. It's right up the street. All right, it is time for sports, and that means Dave, the sports guy, is here, and he's just to my right. Good to have you back.
Hey, good to be here. Good to be back.
Absolutely. You look like you got a little sun, sir. What you been up to this weekend?
I tried to get some sun, yeah. Actually, I was out a little beach volleyball and then went to the longboard surf competition in Sayulita. That was a good time. Saw the night surf event out there and had a pretty good time. It was really well done.
Nicely done.
It was a good time.
And I know that wasn't the only sporting event, obviously, for the weekend. You've got a few more to share with us?
Yeah, we've got a couple of things we can talk about here, so we'll get right to it. And it's time for sports with some highlights from Puerto Vallarta and the region. The Iguanas of Puerto Vallarta have been eliminated from the 2025 Pacific Basketball League, falling to the Coras of Tepic in the fifth and decisive game of the semifinal series, played last night in Nayarit. The Iguanas came out strong, but Coras took the first quarter 32-28. The game stayed close, though, through the second period, with Tepic holding a slim 48-46 halftime lead. And in the third quarter, Coras increased the tempo and extended their advantage to 80-76. In the final minutes, the home team maintained control and closed out the game with a 113-104 victory. With the win, Coras advanced to the next round, while the Iguanas conclude a strong and competitive season, reaching the semifinals. The Vallarta team thanked their fans and organization and pledged to return next year with renewed determination. All right, Toluca are champions once again. The Red Devils were crowned back-to-back Liga MX champions, defeating Tigres UANL in a dramatic penalty shootout in the Apertura 2025 final at the Nemesio Diaz Stadium. After 120 intense minutes, the aggregate score finished at 2-2. Tigres struck first with a deflected free kick by Andre Pierre Gignac, but Toluca responded before halftime through Halino. Early in the second half, Paulino completed the comeback to force extra time. With no goals in overtime, the title was decided from the spot. After a long, intense shootout that went into sudden death, Alexis Vega converted the winning penalty, giving Toluca a 9-8 victory. With the win, Toluca claimed their 12th Liga MX title and secured the Biocampeonato, having also won the Clausura 2025. Here's a good souvenir for FIFA football fans. Mexico City authorities have unveiled 3 commemorative vehicle license plate designs ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, celebrating the capital's role as the host of the tournament's opening match, marking the 3rd time in history that Mexico City will inaugurate a World Cup. Mayor Clara Brugada Molina emphasized that the plates will be a limited edition and are completely optional, clarifying that this initiative does not represent a mandatory re-registration or replating process. The commemorative plates will be available only for private vehicles, not motorcycles, and will only cost 1,500 pesos. Drivers with valid current plates may request the special edition without paying plate cancellation fees. Here's the fun part. New vehicles or cars registered in other states may also opt for the commemorative design as long as all tax and vehicle obligations are up to date. Online purchases will open in January with physical delivery beginning in February at Mobility and Treasury service centers across the city. Authorities plan to expand service hours to ensure same-day or short turnaround delivery. Officials confirmed that 60,000 of these commemorative plates will be issued, and traditional license plates will remain fully valid for circulation. And that's it for sports-related updates in the Bay and beyond. And Brent, going back to you.
Thanks, David. Well, good stuff. I mean, interesting when your sports take mostly is about license plates.
I know, that's pretty good though.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm
like that.
reading that, I'm like, I think I might have to get me one of those.
I know. But I do want to make sure that we get a big shout out for the Iguanas. I mean, what a great season they had. They didn't go all the way, but I mean, they went pretty far. That's great.
They did, made it to the semis, and they're fun to watch. So shouts out to them. They did quite well.
Awesome. Well, always good to have you on, David. Keep doing what you're doing. And
good to be here.
Keep getting that sun and telling us all about the sports.
All right, one of us has to look like we live on the beach.
Fair enough. All right. Thank you so much, David, for all of that fun and dynamic sports information. And now let me tell you about Hospiten's My Health program. Actually, instead of me telling you, let's hear it directly from one of our happy users who has benefited from it.
Good program. I would recommend it to anybody new that's coming to Puerto Vallarta, in that I've been a member here for almost 8 years. We have a lot of meetings here, usually once a month, where we get to meet and interact with other members, and also to share common concerns regarding health. And the facilities and care here at Hospiten is really excellent in Puerto Vallarta. The doctors are all very personable, they're very approachable and easy to speak to. And whenever I've had any utilization of services here at the hospital, it's been a perfect experience. I'd highly recommend it and encourage you all to take part in the My Health program.
Just call 322-226-2080 to book your appointment or visit them at Boulevard Francisco Medina Asensio 3970. Now moving on to our next story tonight.
Deputy State Prosecutor Ludmila Herida Verdugo announced Tuesday that authorities have fully identified the former governor's location in either the United States or Canada, though the exact country has not been disclosed due to the confidentiality of the investigation. Herida Verdugo explained that prosecutors are accelerating extradition procedures so that Nay N can be returned to Mexico and eventually transferred to Nayarit, where he faces multiple criminal charges linked to acts committed during his administration and extending into the term of his successor, Roberto Sandoval, who is currently imprisoned in a federal facility. She acknowledged that the process has faced challenges, particularly meeting the requirement of dual criminality, meaning the alleged crimes must be punishable in both Mexico and the country where the suspect is located. However, she emphasized that authorities are making steady progress and that the extradition request has not been rejected. Nay N is wanted on charges including fraudulent administration, abuse of authority, influence peddling, money laundering, and fraud involving simulated legal acts, as well as allegedly operating shell companies through family members. The deputy prosecutor also rejected claims by the defense that the charges have expired, stating that all statute of limitations appeals have been denied by federal judges. Authorities say it is now only a matter of time before the former governor is extradited to face justice. With information from Guadalupe Cruz, Joe Wasik, CPS News.
Thanks for that information, Joe. Now, moving on in our next Mexican national news story, Mexico's seeing a sharp rise in respiratory illnesses as winter sets in, with health officials reporting a steady climb in flu cases and growing pressure on the hospitals nationwide. Here are more details you're going to want to be aware of.
Mexico is facing a rise in respiratory illnesses as winter advances, with nearly 1,000 confirmed influenza cases reported nationwide. According to the Ministry of Health, 952 influenza cases have been confirmed so far during the 2025 to 2026 flu season, up to epidemiological week 49, along with 5 related deaths. The dominant strain is influenza A H1N1, accounting for more than 71% of cases, followed by H3N2, which represents just over 16%. Health authorities report that monitoring units have registered nearly 28,000 suspected cases of viral respiratory illness so far this season, showing a steady weekly increase. Children are among the most affected. The highest incidence is found in children between 5 and 9 years old, followed by those aged 1 to 4, raising concerns within the pediatric healthcare system. Hospital pressure is already evident. 7 hospitals across the country are operating at full capacity, including 2 pediatric hospitals in Mexico City, directly linked to the surge in infections among minors. While the situation remains less severe than in parts of Europe, health officials urge the public not to ignore flu-like symptoms, seek medical evaluation promptly, and remain alert as multiple influenza strains continue to circulate across Mexico. With information from Tribuna de la Bahia, Eric Stevenson, CPS News.
With those hospitals feeling that pressure, health officials say the next few weeks are going to be critical as the cases do continue to climb. Meanwhile, also on the national front, Mexico and the United States have reached a new agreement on water management along the Rio Grande, reaffirming cooperation under the 1944 treaty. Now, tonight I'm going to tell you a little more about it in our final story.
Mexico and the United States have reached an agreement to strengthen water management in the Rio Grande Basin under the framework of the 1944 Water Treaty, Mexico's government confirmed this week. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated that Mexico has not violated the treaty despite facing an extraordinary and unprecedented drought affecting water users on both sides of the border. Authorities emphasized that all water deliveries have been made within the treaty's legal framework, taking into account hydrological availability and regional infrastructure limits, without compromising human consumption or agricultural production. As part of the agreement, Mexico plans to release more than 249 million cubic meters of water to the United States, with deliveries expected to begin during the week of December 15th. Both governments also reviewed measures to address an exceptional water deficit from the previous cycle, and negotiations are ongoing to finalize a comprehensive compliance plan no later than January 31, 2026. Officials reaffirmed that the 1944 Water Treaty remains a cornerstone of bilateral cooperation, regulating water distribution from the Tijuana, Colorado, and Rio Grande rivers, even as climate pressures continue to challenge long-standing agreements. With information from Erendira Rangel, Maria Ammerman, CPS News.
Well, thank you, Maria, for stepping in and sharing that story. Obviously, that was not me. That was the amazing Maria telling you all about that. So that is all we have time for tonight. I hope you got a lot of information you need. I hope you're going to continue to tune in every single week for CPS News. We are still only the only televised newscast in all of the Bahia de Banderas area. And this is where you get your news every week in English. So thank you for sitting in with me tonight. I look forward to Jesse being back soon. But with that, have a great evening. And thanks again for tuning in.